The Twits by Roald Dahl, page 50 to 60. Mugglewump has an idea. As soon as Mr. and Mrs. Twit had disappeared down the road, the monkeys all flipped back onto their feet the right way up. "Quick, get the key!" Mugglewump called out to the roly-poly bird, who was still sitting on the roof of the house. "What key?" shouted the roly-poly bird. "The key to open our cage," cried Mugglewump. "It's hanging in a nail in the work shed. That's where he always puts it." The roly-poly bird flew down and came back with the key in his beak. Mugglewump reached a hand through the bars of the cage and took the key. He put it in the lock and turned it. The door opened. All four monkeys leapt out together. "We're free!" cried the two little ones. "Where shall we go, Dad? Where shall we hide?" "Don't get excited," said Mugglewump. "Calm down, everybody. Before we escape from this beastly place, we have one very, very important thing to do." "What?" they asked him. "We are going to turn those terrible Twits upside down." "We're going to what?" they cried. "You must be joking, Dad." "I'm not joking," Mugglewump said. "We're going to turn both Mr. and Mrs. Twit upside down with their legs in the air." "Don't be ridiculous," said the roly-poly bird. "How can we possibly turn those two maggoty old monsters upside down?" We can, cried Mugglewump. "We are going to make them stand on their heads for hours and hours, perhaps forever. Let them see what it feels like for a change." "How?" said the roly-poly bird. "Just tell me how." Mugglewump laid his head on one side, and a tiny twinkling little smile touched the corners of his mouth. "Now and again," he said, "but not very often, I have a brilliant idea. This is one of them. Follow me, my friends, follow me." He scampered off toward the house, and the three other monkeys and the roly-poly bird went after him. "Buckets and paintbrushes!" cried Mugglewump. "That's what we want next. There are plenty in the work shed. Hurry up, everyone. Get a bucket and a paintbrush." Inside Mr. Twit's work shed, there was an enormous barrel of hug-tight sticky glue, the stuff used for catching birds. "Fill your buckets," Mugglewump ordered, "for we are now going into the big house." Mrs. Twit had hidden the key to the front door under the mat, and Mugglewump had seen her doing it, so it was easy for them to get in. In went all monkeys with their buckets of sticky glue. Then came the roly-poly bird flying in after them, with a bucket in his beak and a brush in his claw. The great glue painting begins. "This is the living room," announced Mugglewump, "the grand and glorious living room, where those two fearful, frumptuous freaks eat bird pie every week for supper." "Please don't mention bird pie again," said the roly-poly bird. "It really gives me the shudders." "We mustn't waste time," cried Mugglewump. Hurry up, hurry up. Now, the first thing is this. I want everyone to paint sticky glue all over the ceiling. Cover it all, smear it in every corner." "Over the ceiling?" they shouted. "Why the ceiling?" "Never mind why," shouted Mugglewump. "Just do as you're told and don't argue." "But how will we get up there?" they asked. "We can't reach." "Monkeys can reach everywhere," shouted Mugglewump. He was in a frenzy of excitement now, waving his paintbrush and his bucket and leaping about all over the room. Come on, jump on the table, stand on the chairs, hop on each other's shoulders. Roly-poly bird can do it flying. Don't you understand? Don't you just stand there gaping? We have to hurry. Don't you understand that? Those terrible Twits will be back at any moment, and this time they'll have guns. Get on with it. Heaven's sake, get on with it." And so the great glue painting of the ceiling began. All the other birds who had been sitting on the roof flew in to help, carrying paintbrushes in their claws and beaks. There were buzzards, wild ducks, woodpeckers, magpies, rooks, ravens, ducks, woodpeckers, magpies, and many, many more. Everyone was splashing away like mad, and with so many helpers, the job was soon finished. The carpet goes on the ceiling. "What now?" they all said, looking at Mugglewump. "Aha!" cried Mugglewump. "Now for the fun. Now for the greatest upside-down trick of all time. Are you ready?" "We're ready," said the monkeys. "We're ready," said the birds. "Pull out the carpet," shouted Mugglewump. "Pull this huge carpet out from under the furniture and stick it to the ceiling." "Onto the ceiling?" cried one of the small monkeys. "But that's impossible, Dad." "I'll stick you onto the ceiling if you don't shut up," snapped Mugglewump. "He's dotty," they cried. "He's balmy. He's batty. He's nutty. He's screwy. He's wacky," cried the roly-poly bird. "Poor old Muggle's gone off his wump at last." "Oh, do stop shouting such rubbish and give me a hand," said Mugglewump, catching hold of the corner of the carpet. "Pull, you nitwits, pull!" The carpet was enormous. It covered the entire floor from wall to wall. It had a red and gold pattern on it. It was not so easy to pull up such an enormous carpet up off the floor when the room was full of tables and chairs. "Pull!" yelled Muggle-Wump. "Pull! Pull! Pull!" He was like a demon hopping around the room and telling everyone what to do. But you couldn't blame him. After months and months of standing on his head with his family, he couldn't wait for the time that the terrible Twits would be doing the same thing. At least that's what he hoped. With the monkeys and all the birds pulling and puffing, the carpet was dragged off the floor and finally hoisted up onto the ceiling. And there it stuck. All at once, the whole ceiling of the living room was carpeted in red and gold.